Everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for Live with Greg on this Sunday night. I have some very special guests tonight. I call them my friends. They'll be your friends when we get done with this broadcast tonight. My friends James and Christy Howard. How's it going?
Good.
Greg, this is such an honor. This is so cool.
I'm so honored that you guys both said yes. For people who don't know, James is a long time broadcaster on the radio here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And on top of that, he's also an amazing father, also an amazing husband. And I also got to give a shout out. You're not just on the radio. He has a TV show on News Channel 9 called This and That.
That's right.
So he's like Ryan Seacrest of Chattanooga.
Oh, you're awesome, Greg. You know, the thing is, all that sounded so great, but the way he said long, he goes long.
You're old.
I know. Tell me about it.
So first off, how are you guys doing? What have you guys been up to since COVID-19 hit us back in March?
We've had to be creative sometimes in the way we spend our time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been good. Our oldest daughter went off to school in August, but the time before she went off, it was really good that we all got to spend time together a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
So, our youngest, she's doing the virtual school, so that's interesting.
That's been very interesting, Greg. I mean, just crazy. I mean, just having a daughter that's in a dorm room, you know what I'm saying? And, you worry about that, her being on campus. And I tell her every day, do the right thing, make sure you're social distancing, wear a mask, don't do anything stupid. Hand sanitizer, bathe, shower, and hand sanitizer. And then with Lucy, we decided to, keep her here at the house.
And I'm not a homeschool teacher. I admire all the ones who are, but I'm not.
Yeah, I take care of all the math and science. That's not true. I was waiting for her to laugh.
Has it been like going back to school for both of you?
Yes, and I need to go back to school again so I can learn all the new math and all that stuff.
Yeah. We've done the virtual parent teacher conferences. We've tried our best to stay on top of things. We have hired a tutor. That was the best move that we made. Yes. with Gracie back a couple of years ago. We knew how effective that was. It's like triple. I mean, it's like times 3 right now. I mean, when it comes to math, oh my word, it was like I quit when my girls were in 3rd grade. I said, ask your mama, and then pass 5th or 6th grade.
Then I quit.
And then then she quit. And so that's when we started, having to, to ask the professionals after school, to tell them we need help.
I just love to hear you guys talk about how you're, taking on these different duties. But you guys have been married for quite some time. How long have you been married?
How long have we been married, James?
Greg it was so funny. Right before Greg's show started, it was funny because I was like going, I know you're going to ask me that. I will admit, okay? I will admit this. So Christy, my wife, had brain surgery. Tell me, it was like 9 years ago?
7 years ago.
7 years ago?
The first one, yeah.
And one of the first, when she finally was able to get out of the house after that first brain surgery, we were driving. I was driving in my Volkswagen, and this was like the first time she really got out. It was like 3 or 4 weeks after the brain surgery. And here we are driving, and we weren't saying much. It was just nice to get out. It was a lovely afternoon. And I had given her, it was our anniversary. And what I thought was it I don't know what
I don't know.
But I had given her an engraved little piece of jewelry with her brain engraved on this piece of jewelry. And she was
really sweet.
And so she was looking at it, and I looked over there and I was like, hey, she really likes this, it's special. She was looking at it and she goes, James, I got to thinking. And I was like, oh gosh, what's she about to say? And she said, we haven't been married
13 years.
13 years. We've been married 12. And we were off. Both of us.
And I can't blame them.
Yeah, exactly. We were off by a year for a couple of years, I think, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's always been a joke with us about how we always look at each other. How long we've been married? To answer your question, 23 years.
23 years.
24
It'll
in January.
It'll be 24 in January. Yes.
So how did you guys meet?
The first time we met, it was at a movie theater, and I was on a date with a friend of James. And I just really liked his personality. Couldn't see him, it was dark, but just really liked his personality. And then he came to UTC and spoke at the Baptist Student Union and just talked about his faith and his relationship with Jesus. And from there, he asked me out, and there you go.
Yeah, the rest is history. What's really crazy is, if I can just say this late at night to get it right, who she was on a date with going back years before this. His mom was on a date with my dad, and that's where my dad met my mom. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Yeah.
So bizarre. I know,
Yeah.
bizarre. So it was like my dad met my mom
On a date with
on
his
a
mom.
date. On a date, yeah. On a
It
date
was the
with.
same story.
It was the same story. It was like the
with
same.
his
My dad has the same story how he met, my mom, and I have the same story how. Yeah. Anyway, so but the reason I was kind of shaking my head, Greg, because that was the first official place that we met.
Yeah.
But I always go back when I was 15. She was 16, and it was Wednesday night at church, and I had met her brother. I had known her brother for a couple of years before I laid eyes on Christy. And someone came upstairs. Here I am, 15 years old, and someone said, Bart's sister is here tonight. And I was like, really? And so I was like, I didn't even know Bart had a sister, Christy's brother. And so I go downstairs, and she was playing in the gym. Here she is, 16 years old. I looked through the window of the gym, and these are my exact words. I go, Bart's sister is hot. And that's all I remember. But I remember seeing her. She was playing volleyball or something like that with a bunch of people. And that was, I was 15. We're 6 months apart. And anyway, I didn't officially meet her until I was probably 19 or 20 on the campus of UTC.
Wow. So I have to ask you, Christy, what made you say yes when he proposed?
I had to think about that for a while.
So surprised. Why did you say yes to James?
I had made out a list of what I wanted in the person that I wanted to marry. And so way before I met James. And so when I met him, we went on a date, and I looked at that list, and he met every qualification. That's kind of, I don't know, a business way to say it, but every qualification that I wanted in a husband. And so there you go. I just knew he was the one. Just adventurous, a good heart. I mean, giving, caring for people. Never knew what he was going to do next. But and most of all, I mean, he had a relationship with Christ, and that was the main thing to me. So, and he was a gentleman, so my mom loved him. So
awesome. James, you've been in radio 30 years. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. I can't believe, just to hear you say that is crazy. But thank you.
What has it been like for you? 30 years in radio, the voice of this area, or one of the voices.
Well,
one of the voices.
Yeah, no, thank you. I started, Alan Knowles gave me my first radio job at RX 107, and it was a contemporary Christian radio station. I worked there for 6 straight months for free. David Carroll, I met him at it was a career day at Tyner High School. And I went up to him and I said, how do you get into this business? Because I think I can probably do this. And he said, go to your favorite radio station and ask. And at the time, RX 107 was doing something at my church, and Alan was there. And literally, this is just a couple of weeks after career day, after I'd met David. And anyway, I grabbed Alan and I said, "Hey, I want to start working for you. What do I do?" And he goes, "Come see me tomorrow afternoon." Well, he said if he had a nickel for every time somebody asked him that, he'd be a rich man. And he goes, when he looked out and here I was in the lobby, he couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's pretty serious. So anyway, I started working for free there, and it was my internship days. I learned a lot about radio for about as long as they were on the air, and I worked there for 3 months. 3 years, and almost 3 years, and they went off the air, and I honestly thought this was it. This was that was the end of my broadcast career. So I was offered a part-time job, make a long story short, and working radio, and I started working where I am today, Sunday 92.3. And I always look at working at WDEF radio and I started working there in 1993, and because I went basically from RX 107. It was my first year at college at Chattanooga State as a freshman, and I really kind of started I had a professor at Chat State said, you need to look into television too. And started working at 12 and WDEF radio and going full-time school. So anyway, that's where it all kind of started for me.
For you being in radio, you're on the mornings. Have you ever overslept?
You know what? I have to admit, there's twice that's happened to me. One, I was working part-time, and that's getting back to, I was working television, radio, like I am today, but I was also full-time school and dating Christy. And
I would call him up like at 12 at night or 2 in the morning and be like, James, it's time to get up and go to work.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or I'd sleep in her hammock at her house, like in the middle of the day. I had crazy hours, but yeah, it happened twice. But I remember getting a phone call, and then the voice, on the other side saying, James, are you on Central Time or Eastern Time? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll be there, 20 minutes. But it's happened twice in my 30 years of broadcasting.
So, Christy, for you to be married to James all these years, over 20 years, do you feel like you still nudge him in the morning and say it's time to get up?
Yes. But I don't do much. I set the alarm and it's on my side of the bed and just kind of, nudge him shake him on his shoulder, and then I go back to sleep. So, but I make sure he gets out of the bed.
We don't get into any intense conversations at all. My alarm goes off at 2:15 every morning. So, but it's been like that for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
20 years on doing the morning show.
Yeah.
James, you worked with Luther for a number of years in radio. When you think back to Luther, what are some of those things that he taught you that you still live by today?
I can talk about kids and I can talk about marriage, and when I can get a little emotional talking about Luther, because he was my best friend slash father figure slash great uncle slash everything, all wrapped up into one.
Kind of looked after all of us, checked up on us, made sure the girls were good, and
he would stop by and just like unannounced, which was normal, and he would be like, you need some more gravel in your driveway.
He got us a lamp or a light for outside or something.
Because it was too dark, and it's like next thing I know, he had construction workers over. I mean, he was just awesome. I think the biggest thing that working with Luther is that he loved people, and in broadcasting, there's so many egos and there's so many different types of personalities. But I think Luther always, his focus was people and love for people. And golly, I just want to sit here and say I've strived for that. You know what I'm saying? Luther found my dog when I was 9 years old, and that's when I fell in love with Luther. We made that connection, and I didn't officially meet him until I was 18 years old. Started working at Sunny 92.3. But but Greg, I can talk days about Luther. You know, I've written a book about Luther. I love
Mm-hmm.
him. He was such a dear friend of mine. But and I was fortunate enough to be right there when he took his last breath, and with his family. And so he was such a dear friend of mine. Very close with Luther.
Yeah.
When you think back over your career, not only are you doing radio and you host a television show, I didn't know this until one day we were talking. You said you can fly a plane. And I said, really? How did that come about?
Oh my word. That's so funny.
I kid him. That's like his first love. We can be in the most serious conversation, and he'll stop if he hears a plane in the sky and go look at see what plane it is.
Well, that's my love of aviation, but it's also called ADD. So, but yeah, I love aviation, and I have to admit, I mean, to be real with you, I struggle with. I mean, I love my family, I love my job, I love people, but aviation can get in the way of all that because I can be selfish, and I'm like, I'm going flying, you know. But I love flying airplanes. I love flying. I'm a commercial licensed pilot. I fly fixed wings. I've gotten into hot air balloons, but I've been flying ever since I was 13 years old. And
he proposed to me under the wing of an airplane. So I mean,
Wow.
it's been part of our life in every area. He would take the girls up in the plane when they were babies just to make them stop crying. I mean,
that's so true. I don't think no one's ever done that before, but that's very true.
When I look over your life, 20 something years you guys have been married. I think you said 23 years. And Christy, epilepsy is something that you personally deal with. This is National Epilepsy Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, when did all of this come about, and what has this been like for you in your life?
I had my first seizure when I was 16 years old. I had just gotten my driver's license. And then Mom heard something came in my room, and I was just on the floor. Had no idea how I got there. Same thing happened again a couple weeks later. So we went to neurologists and found out that I have epilepsy, which I was like, okay, we can deal with that. But then when the doctor said you can't drive, you have to go at least 6 months without having a seizure, that's when I lost it. So I was 16 and I had my freedom, and then, but all my friends were great, like back in high school and college, and they were just there. So I didn't have the aspect of people making fun of me or anything. The medicine has been, I think, the hardest thing. Well, I don't want to say the hardest, but it has affected my body more, it seems like, than the seizures because of its side effects and making me so mellow and tired and kind of hard to get my words together and everything. So that's kind of been that's been tough. And I want to be the mom like every other mom wants to be, and I want to be the wife with the energy and just like I need to be or want to be. And it's hard. It's really hard. As I got older, I started having more seizures. And so it got to be every night I would have like 2 seizures, which would wake James up. And then he would have to get up a couple hours later to go to work. So we've never, I don't think, had a full night's rest, which is fine. But when we found the neurologist that I have now down at UAB, and he's a terrific doctor. I could not ask for a better doctor. The first time we saw him, he took James aside and he said, "How are you? How has this affected you?" Because he recognized that this isn't just about me. It's about the whole family. And, the kids have grown up with seeing me have seizures. When Gracie, who's 20, she might see me have a seizure when she was like 3, and she would go downstairs and be like, "Dad, Mom's shaking again." And then she'd go back and start watching TV again. So, I mean, it was
a part of our lives.
It's part of our life.
Yeah. But the thing is, when we were having average about close to 5 seizures a night, and that went on for years until they said no more. And in fact, they got real serious about it about a year and a half ago and said, we're having surgery. So, I mean, it was up to us, but I mean.
Yeah, the first surgery was 7 years ago. They found a mass. It wasn't cancerous or anything, but it made my brainwaves misbehave pretty much. I mean, that's, I guess, the way that I can describe it.
Layman's terms.
So,
I'm sure.
so we decided to have that taken out.
The size of a plum,
yeah, but they couldn't get, it had fingers on it, so they couldn't get all of the fingers of the mass out. So so it still affected me, and I was fine for about 7 months. Started having a seizure once a month and 2 a month, and then it just got back to where it was.
Devastating. That was a very
I
hard
think
time in our life. Yeah,
we expected it to be okay. We'll get this mass out, and everything will be great. You know, I'll get off the meds, and so that was hard. That was really hard.
Because about 10 weeks after that surgery, it was not only more seizures, but it was more meds to keep the seizures and the really controlling the severity of the seizures, not necessarily the number of the seizures. So,
and Christy, when you think about going through this since you were a teenager, how has your faith been tested along this journey?
Oh my goodness. Sometimes for a long time, I just accepted it. It's just like, okay, I guess God just made me this way, or I just accepted it and went on, you know, but I didn't question, does God love me or not, or something like that. I've had to have faith. I don't know what I would do if I didn't know Christ, if I didn't have him to pray to or have conversations with, and sometimes just argue with him about it, you know, and that might sound weird to some people, but it's okay to show emotions. And I think one of the hardest things, when I had the surgery the first time, we had a lot of people who were like, we're going to bring dinner, we're going to take care of the girls, you know, whatever you need. And I would say, no, we're good. Family's going to take care of us. And I had a friend, wonderful friend. She's very blunt. And she said, Christy, do not take away the blessing from other people who want to help y'all. And so I've had to humble myself and be like, you know, God puts things in our heart to do, and we need to do it, but other people need to let us do it, because, you know, and I don't know what I would have done without those friends. So the other thing that was the hardest was having my head shaved. And that sounds, I don't know, to a guy probably that's not a big deal, but I mean, to a girl, maybe we're all, when we have a bad hair day, it's not necessarily a good day. So, you know, that was very weird, and I hated it.
And I told her, I said, look, you know, you won't have a bad hair day for 5 months. And she didn't, because she didn't have any. But it was a struggle emotionally, I think, just on that end with her losing her hair. But I think she looks beautiful with or without hair.
Thank you. I do have to compliment James. I mean, he's been our rock, and I'm not saying this because, you know,
because we're live with Greg.
But I don't know what I would do without him, because he is my support and everything. And so we haven't had, you know, we have good days and bad days between us sometimes. And so, you know, and I don't know about the girls, they've been wonderful, but I'm sure sometimes they get sick of it too. So but not driving, that's another thing, relying on other people.
And Christy, when you think about, you know, going through this journey with epilepsy, I was looking through some James' Facebook page, and I found these pictures. I remember him talking about this. He was supporting the foundation here locally, getting taped to a wall. Tell us about this.
So I think I've done this a couple of times. Yeah, we tried this at Riverbend the first time. Yeah, and they asked me if I wanted to do it. The Epilepsy Foundation of Southeast Tennessee, by the way, they're incredible, just an incredible bunch of folks. And it's amazing. There's only like 3 people that work there. And they cover, I think, 10 to 16 counties. Yeah. It's crazy. And they've helped us personally, too, in so many ways throughout for the last 23 years. But anyway, I think we charged it was a $5 donation to get a piece of tape to tape me up on the board. And I was really insulted because there were a lot of people that wanted to take me up on the wall. But it was for a good cause, and we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And
one of my favorite pictures, James, I think Christy is giving you some water in this picture here.
Yeah, it was funny because I don't think I had a drop for 2 hours. He goes, "Okay, I give in. I'm going to give you some water." No, but yeah, she was kind enough to give me some water.
When I think about both of you and just going through life's journey, you have two amazing daughters. What has being a mother and father been like for both of you?
Wow. It's been really easy and stress free. Oh my gracious. You know what? I tell you, we're blessed to have two daughters that still love us.
I think so.
So Lucy's 12. She's actually making gingerbread cookies in the kitchen as we speak. She's 12, preteen, and Gracie is at Lee University. Not too far away from home, but it was time for her to leave. No, that sounded a bit time for her to leave.
It was time for her to have her own life.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was really nice. She wanted dorm life, and she always loved Lee. But being a father, I tell you, has its up and downs. And one thing I strive for every day to be the best father I could be. You know what I'm saying? I want to be, when I'm on my deathbed, I don't think any of us are going to be going, I should have spent a little bit more time in the studio. I should have spent a little more time at the office. I think we're going to look back and we're going to be saying, I wish I'd have spent more time with my family. And I don't want to be on my deathbed thinking that way. And so, I'm sitting here, it's crazy because they're 8 years apart. And so I saw how fast Gracie grew up, and I tried to soak in every moment, and here she is almost 21 years old. But then the thing is, seeing Gracie grow up so fast, when Lucy came along, it's like, it was 8 years was enough
God
time
knew
for
we
me.
could not handle two toddlers,
Oh my gosh,
teenagers at one time.
for sure, two teenagers. But the thing is, I really grasp how fast they grow up, and so I'm like extra, like overly sensitive and aware, hyper aware.
So when she has her first date, I so feel sorry for whoever that guy is going to be.
But being a father, I mean, fatherhood is incredible. It's awesome. I think it's a privilege. I pray every day that I'm the best father I can be. I have fallen on my face so many times.
I don't know what parent.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm not the perfect father, but I love my girls, and they're on the top of the list over everything. Aviation sometimes gets in the way, but anyway.
Would you both say you're the coolest parents? Because every time I see pictures, you guys have a great time.
It may appear that way, but being in broadcasting, you get to do some really kind of cool things. But
yeah,
my girls,
they're used to, I don't think they realize they live in a glass house in a way. I mean, this is home. It's stable, and whether they act like it or not, I think they still love us. But but yeah, I mean, we're out there because of your job and in some ways, but it's not a bad thing at all.
The coolness factor, I don't think, has ever been with them. They've always, when it comes to egos, they've always kept me in check because just yeah. Anyway, I'll go out and like pull a maneuver like a Shondell. One of my favorite maneuvers, a Shondell maneuver. And we'd be kind of up, and it's almost like an uppy and downy in the airplane, and kind of going sideways. And those are the moments where I'm like thinking, I'm a cool dad. But then I look over,
Grace is asleep.
Yeah,
looking out the window.
I just thought I was a cool dad.
As we wrap up tonight, you guys are so much fun. When I think about James, I remember you competed in Ironman, the half Ironman and the full Ironman. Do you plan on doing anything like this ever again, or are you done?
Oh my goodness. It's so funny, Greg. I'm not done. The last Ironman I've done yeah, the last really hurt my body for about a year. And the full is such a huge commitment, but
he is an Iron Man. He finished his first one. He's finished 4 halves. I mean,
thank you. But
Christy, I told him in the studio one time, I said, James, you completed it one time. You're already an Iron Man. I think Margie told him too. And we both said, you're an Iron Man. Just hang up your medal and be one of the people at the finish line and cheer on the other people.
There you go. There you go.
Right. Well, thank you. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I'm not done. I'm not done with the Iron Man. Maybe the fulls, the full Iron Man, the 146 miles. Okay.
And I don't plan on one ever.
Christy, I'm right there with you. Look, I did a half marathon one time because some friends made me do it, and I didn't prepare. And so I got to mile 3, which I normally do a 5K, which is normal. So I said, this is good. I'm good. I got to mile 4, mile 5. I felt the Lord just told me, said, look, this is not your ministry. And so I got to mile 7 and I called an Uber, but the Uber couldn't get to mile 7. So I had to walk to mile 8 to get in the Uber. And he said, do you want to go to the finish line or to your car? I said, take me to my car. So
that is hilarious. James signed me up for a half marathon, and it was the day before, and it was for Erlanger.
Yeah, it was for Erlanger.
And so I was like, James, it's tomorrow. And
but she finished it.
But I finished so proud of her. I was one of
the last ones,
but I finished it.
Yeah, I'm proud of you for calling an Uber. That made for a great story, Greg.
I felt like it was a blessing. I got to 8 miles, so that was more than what I expected to do.
Absolutely. Hey, look. Yeah. That's all I will say about Ironmans and marathons and stuff like that. Sometimes the accomplishment is making it to the starting line, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think it takes a lot of heart to make it to the starting line, So
that's true. And before we wrap up tonight, James, I have 2 more things I want to ask you. First off, I didn't know that you were an actor. And I didn't realize that you were in the movie 42.
Yes. Yeah, I got lucky on that. It was funny you said that. Gracie, I got her out of school. She wanted to be an extra in that movie. Mm-hmm. And so here I am in my shorts and, just probably Hawaiian shirts, whatever. And I drove her over to auditions. Well, Gracie at the time was 14, 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And they go, oh, honey, you have to be 18 or older to be in the movie. And I was like, oh man. And then they go, but Dad can be in it. And I go, oh, no, that's okay. I really don't have time. And they go, here, come on, let's take some shots. Answer some of these questions. Next thing I know, it was months later, I was recovering from the flu. I had just gotten back from Haiti. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And I get a phone call from out in California, and they said, can you be in hair and makeup tomorrow afternoon at 3? And I was like, what? And I couldn't believe it. It was like unbelievable. So they wanted me to be in a scene with Jackie Robinson. The character's name.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, golly, yeah, absolutely. Oh my word. And so there was going to be 20 people in the scene. Well, it narrowed down to literally, I think, 7 in the bus, right behind them. And it was a really emotional scene. It was a 4.5 hour shoot. And I was reading a New York Times newspaper right behind them with a fedora. And it was an unbelievable experience. Down off of Glass Street, downtown Chattanooga, in a makeshift studio in a 1946 bus. And it was months later. It was crazy. Months later, I was at a conference with the Children's Miracle Network, and it was midnight in my hotel room. And her best friend calls her up and says, James, you're not going to believe this. At first, I thought somebody had died because I was like, why are you calling me? It was like 12:15 at night, right? In the morning. And I had made the trailer. And I could not believe it.
This is a James thing. I mean, stuff like this just happens to him.
So it was really neat acting or not acting, being an extra with him, and also Harrison Ford. Actually, I was in a couple of scenes behind Harrison Ford, so it was really cool. It's like just a Chattanooga thing to do, and it was kind of cool. It's kind of neat. But anyway,
When you think about being on set with Chadwick Boseman, we lost him earlier this year.
yeah.
What was it like to be with him on set and remembering him?
He was like he was so nice. I mean, just like super nice. Now, we, obviously we weren't buddies. We didn't talk. We weren't actually supposed to talk to uh, any of them. And so he, in fact, when they said all clear, he got off the bus first, and then we had to wait until everybody was clear, and then we got off the bus. But he was so nice. And when he passed away several months ago, I just thought of those moments where he took the time to talk to the extras, right? And I was so impressed with his attitude and his just his demeanor. He was such a neat, nice gentleman.
Finally, tonight, your faith. Both of you are both, big in your faith. How has your faith carried each of you through a marriage, children, epilepsy, life? What has that been like for you?
I think for me, if you don't have faith, you don't have hope. And I think the two go together. I mean, there's times in a marriage, there's times where we love each other, but sometimes we don't like each other, or
Mhm.
and sometimes there might be a month even where it's just difficult, but we've committed our marriage before God that we're going to stay together no matter what. We're going to work it out. And then with parenting, I just, you can't do that. To me, you can't do that without knowing God. I mean, there's so many challenges that come along with it, but there's also, I think God honors us if we do it the way that he wants us to. But I think my faith has just gotten me through everything. I mean, and there's joy in it, but it's okay to be sad and be frustrated and stuff. But God's still with us, no matter what, he's still with us. So, anyways, that's what it is for me. It's hope.
Yeah. My daily prayer every morning is, I want Jesus and nothing else. And I've struggled all my life saying I want Jesus and something else. I want Jesus and, well, I want this much in my 401k, but no, I want Jesus and nothing else. And I struggle with that every single day, and that's just my daily prayer every single day. And I can't ignore the fact that I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan 9 different times, and to go through scary moments and not have, I mean, not have a Christ to go help me get through this, that's where I find my hope. I'm so thankful that I have hope, during the pandemic. It's just like, we trust doctors and we trust, people that are a whole lot smarter than I am, but I believe that there's a God that's over those doctors and that's over this world, believe it or not, that cares and loves us, and that's the Christ that I serve. And when you have awful days at the office, or seeing her, all wired up and tubes in her mouth, and I mean, how in the world does anybody like just sit there and not have hope? Saying that there's a bigger person that's going to take care of you no matter what. And so anyway, that's why I have faith, and that's why I cling on to what I call absolute truth, and that's the scripture, and I believe in God.
I think
Amen.
the thing I want to leave to our kids is a relationship with Christ, is his love. They can forget about me, they can forget about our traditions or whatever. I want them to know Christ, and that's what I want to leave with them as an example of that relationship.
James and Christy, thank you both for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you guys sharing your faith, sharing your story, and I'm sure so many people have been inspired by everything that you said tonight. And I pray nothing but blessings over your whole family over this holiday season going into 2021. And before we leave tonight, James, I have to ask you because I want to make sure I give a shout out. Sunny 92.3 or Sunny 92.3. Where can
That's
we hear you on the radio in the mornings?
That's right. That's right. Sunny 92.3. My wonderful partner, Kim Carson. I'll be there bright and early tomorrow morning. So, yes, thank you, Greg. And it's been an honor. It's been so much fun. I'm almost kind of sad we're wrapping this up.
We'll have to do it again.
Thank you so much for asking us.
Yes, thank you.
To have a conversation.
Most definitely. Check him out. Check James out this and at 12:30 on News Channel 9. You can also hear him on Sunny 92.3 on, WDEF radio. And I just want to say thank you guys again for joining us tonight. You're amazing. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. And are y'all cooking for Thanksgiving? Who's cooking?
Oh my goodness, that's been kind of a not necessarily an argument, but whether we're all we're gonna get with other families or what. But I'm gonna be cooking. Hey, Greg, it's been such an honor. Thank you so much for allowing us to just have this conversation with you.
Most definitely, and I'm sure Lucy's going to make the cookies this year.
That's right. Yeah,
yes,
she's waiting to do the mixer now, actually. So
sounds good. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you.
Have a good night.